तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome to the Shri Hari Nam series, which we have been having every Monday and Tuesday. And if you remember, up till now, we have discussed 6 of the offenses to the holy name. So I'll just summarize what we have discussed up till now, and then we will continue our discussion further. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has been analyzing all these 10 offenses, because if we are not able to experience the transformations in the heart in the form of Ashtasattvic vikars, then surely one is infested with the offenses. And then he goes on to narrate what are these 10 offenses. And these 10 offenses he quotes from the Padma Puran and starts dealing with each of these offenses. So the first offense was to criticize sadhus. Criticize sadhus. Lack of respect towards sadhus. That is also criticism. And then considering Shiva and demigods to be independent of the Supreme Lord is also counted as an offense. And then he speaks about Guru Agya. And if you remember, he's giving the foundational principles of understanding what this offense is and how one should not commit this offense. Guru Avagya. And the fourth was, which we discussed in the last week, was Shat Shastra Nindanam, to criticize the Vedas. And we saw how indirectly we can commit this offense. So we should be very careful about it. And then considering the holy names, the glories of the holy names described in the Vedas to be mere exaggeration or mere praise of the holy name. So this was the fifth offense. And the sixth offense, it's interesting. He begins that not understanding difference between Namabhas and Nam, one thinks that the holy name is composed of syllables and it is uttered without respect, so it does not yield results. And this Praman is given of Ajamil, who chanted Namabhas. And we went into that discussion of Namaprad, Namabhas, Shuddhanam. And within this Namabhas, there is the Ashraddha Namabhas and Shraddha Namabhas. Al-Ajamil's chanting was in Ashraddha Namabhas. And we discussed in Shraddha Namabhas, there is Chaya and Pratibimba. Chaya has a connection. Pratibimba is a reflection, which is distorted understanding of the true meaning of the holy name. So we have to go through the stages of Namaprad, Chaya, Shraddha Namabhas, and Shuddha Nam. So the holy name is full of consciousness and rasa, which is na indriya grayam. It is not perceivable or graspable by the senses. So one who doesn't take shelter of this rasa of the holy name, for him there is no question of success. And only the result of people who chant without faith, later on, they will chant with faith. So that's what I mentioned. You have to go through the Shraddha Namabhas and specifically the Chaya stage and then go to Shuddha Nam. So having said this, one who interprets the holy name, Kalpanam, Arthavad is different, thinking it is an exaggeration, whatever is narrated, the glory. But Kalpanam means to interpret, to find another way to establish the inferiority of the glory of the holy name. So that is how we commit this offense. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur went into a little philosophical discussion here about Namabhas and Nam to explain this sixth offense. And then committing sin on the strength of the holy name. Namo paladhiya papa buddhi, yasya papa buddhi. So this also we discussed, and how there is something called as the papa gandha. When one takes up to bhakti, he has no tendency to commit sinful activities because he is relishing spiritual rasa. But the papa gandha remains till the stage of asakti. We mentioned that. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So the abhadras are destroyed atyantiki at the stage of asakti. At the stage of nishta, they are destroyed. So till that stage, before anarth nivritti, when our bhajan is still not steady, which is called as anishtita bhajan kriya, we might succumb to the vasanas and commit something abominable. But once who chants the holy name with rasa, with taste, ruchi, he has, he doesn't commit sinful activities at all. So even if somebody under the control of vasanas commits something abominable, it is between him and Krishna, and we should not find fault with him and criticize him and commit a Vaishnava aparadh. That's important. But the most important point is here that if we commit this offense, then what is the parihar? What is the solution? Bhaktivinoda Thakur discussed, and we discussed that in the last class. So having come till this point, we thought that we should have another exercise on the practical application of chanting the holy names. We have till now seen two exercises. One is based on Sambandha Gyan. I am a minute consciousness, servant of Krishna. Krishna is supreme consciousness, my master. This material world is a prison meant for my rectification to be absent in that relationship. And through the holy name, They are my connection to Krishna. With this kind of a Sambandhagan, one chants the holy name. So the second exercise we saw was the Mantra Artha Chintanam, where we meditate on the meaning of the holy names. And we did that exercise. Now that same thing, another further extension that along with meditation on the holy names, uh, this is another higher level exercise where we chant along with Radha and Krishna. Chant along with Radha and Krishna. So let's look into this now. Another powerful meditation with which we can establish a conscious connection to Sri Sri Radha Krishna is being discussed now. In this world, there are countless diversions from our relationship with Krishna, other relationships, our job, our dreams, society at large, and so on. So we have so many, our heart is given for family, for children, for wealth, for our aspirations. So many connections we have established. All these preoccupations are like smoke. One day they will simply dissolve into the air. So one should know that these connections are there, and these are what I call it as the horizontal connections. So there are the horizontal connections in our relationship with this world, and then there's a vertical connection with Krishna. The vertical connection is eternal. The horizontal connections will cut with the body when they leave and when we leave also. So we should have this understanding that one day they will all simply dissolve. At that time, we will be left with our one and only eternal relationship. So the relationship between us and the soul, that doesn't get disconnected at all at any point of time. Mamevamsho jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana. The living entity is eternally the part and parcel of the Lord. And that connection, for not even for a moment, it gets cut. We may already know this, but our worldly relationships continue to demand our time and attention. We often allow them to take up nearly all our energy. So here is a meditation to help you connect with the divine couple, free from diversion. So our eternal relationship is with the divine couple, but worldly connections take all our time. So there is a meditation of how to be in that connection with Radha and Krishna and chant the holy names. So first step, sit in a peaceful place where you will be undisturbed. Imagine you are completely alone. You might be, in the Sangha of devotees chanting, but you have to imagine that you're completely alone. Let everything around you slowly and gently disappear. Bring your attention to what is going on in your life and let it slip away. So this, even in the yoga techniques, especially when you're doing Shavasana or Yoga Nidra, it is mentioned that you lie down in Shavasana in a very relaxed pose and you start inhaling and exhaling. And it is it is said that you should focus your mind on the breathing. When the air is being inhaled through the nostrils, you should feel that air is being inhaled and it is exhaled. So when you inhale, you take the positive energy, and when you exhale, whatever negative energy is there, you throw it out. So similarly, you should, try to, whatever is going on in the life, you should meditate and you should allow it to go out, allow it to slip away. Your relationship with your relatives, let them go as well. Your job, your important responsibilities, your future desires, all gone. Step 2, now you are absolutely alone. You are absolutely alone now. You may imagine yourself sitting on the banks of Yamuna or at Giriraj or at your favorite place. So everyone has his favorite place where they would like to sit and chant. So this is a kind of a, which is, we call it as a creating a sacred space. Now, sacred space is both external and internal. Externally, we have a place where we regularly sit and do our chanting. Maybe we have the deity pictures or we have Tulsi Maharani, and in and around there is no distraction. And every day, if we chant, that becomes our sacred space where we connect to our eternal relationship and cut off all our relationships with this world. The sacred space is also in the heart, where you have attraction to a particular holy place in the dham. Maybe it is Govardhan, or it is Radha Kund, or it is Kusum Sarovar. So, whichever that place, you just imagine that you're in that space now. That is what is called as a sacred space. You feel completely safe and spiritually connected. Become aware that your truest being, that in your truest being, you are an eternal spiritual soul, an eternal servant of Radha and Krishna. So, this is the meditation. It is only due to some misfortune that you have been absent from that relationship. But your fortune has turned. You have finally met your spiritual master and learned about your real identity as a pure spirit soul, completely separate from the gross and subtle body. You have been inspired to take up the path of eternal loving service to their lordships Radha and Krishna. Now, see in your mind's eye that Radha and Krishna are before you, no one else. You have the opportunity to chant for their pleasure. Now, this is a very, very important meditation which we can start practicing in our chanting. That one, important sutra is that we chant not in an achiever's mood, but in a receiver's mood. That we don't chant to chant our rounds, but we chant for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. So it's always recommended that you keep the pictures of Radha and Krishna, whichever deities are your favorite deities, which are your Ishtadev, and you meditate and you say that I'm now chanting for your pleasure. So that really takes the whole paradigm shift in your consciousness, where you're not battling to finish your rounds. So if you're with Radha and Krishna, then you're chanting for their pleasure, then there's no question of time. So once I was attending a very senior sannyasi who was giving a question answer discussion on the holy name, and one of the brahmacharis asked that Maharaj, before I used to take 1 hour 45 minutes to chant. Nowadays, because I have morning deity worship, I get up early, but I take a little more time. So his own question was, I'm spending so much time with the holy name, how I can reduce it, or how, to do optimally. So Maharaj said, are you, deciding that you will be only for so much time with Radha and Krishna? So chanting means to be with Radha and Krishna. And you're going to decide that, okay, I have only half an hour for you. I want to be with you half an hour. And that too with Radha and Krishna. So Maharaj explained that what is chanting? Chanting means that you are with Radha and Krishna. And if you are with Radha and Krishna, there is no question of time, because time doesn't act if you are chanting on the transcendental platform. For your kind of information, you're not aware, you're not conscious of the time at all. If you're conscious of the time, then the modes influence are there of past or present or in the future. The mind is in the passion, so it is always thoughts are about what to do next. Or if the mind is in the mode of ignorance, why did that happen? Why did he say to me this? So all that is going on in the consciousness. So chanting means to be with Radha and Krishna. And Maharaj was explaining that if you are with Radha and Krishna, you will also not come to know that you're actually with Radha and Krishna. That was more shocking, How is that I don't know while chanting that I'm actually with Radha and Krishna. I'm associating with Radha and Krishna. He said, when somebody comes and disturbs you and you become conscious, oh, and actually you come back to your environment, then you realize, oh, actually I was, in a living relationship with Radha and Krishna. So that is real chanting, he was explaining. So this is a very important meditation that we chant for their pleasure. I heard a reflection of one of the senior devotees about his spiritual master who was sitting uh, in front of Prabhupada Vyasasana at night, 9 o'clock, at night, 9 o'clock, and sitting and chanting. So this disciple was uh, doing the last Shayan Darshan, and he put the deities to sleep. And then he offed all the lights and he just left the light before Prabhupada Vyasasana because the sannyasi, his spiritual master, was sitting and chanting. The clock was right in front of him on the wall, and he was continuing to chant. So he thought not to disturb. So he went back to sleep in his bed in the ashram. And in the midnight, he had to answer nature calls. So he got up and he peeped in the temple hall. He saw that the sannyasi was still sitting and chanting. And early morning, he had to get up because he had to wake up the deities. So 3:30, when he woke up and entered the temple room, he saw still the sannyasi was sitting and chanting. At this time, he had to really go and tell uh, his spiritual master that, we are going to clean the temple hall, so you have to get up. So when he just tapped his spiritual master suddenly realized. He said, Maharaj, this is 3:30 now. Oh, it is 3:30. I did not know. So the clock was right in front of him. He was facing Prabhupada and chanting, and just backside the clock was there. And he had never realized how the time had passed because he was chanting in relationship with Radha and Krishna. So that's a very important point. So this is a meditation that we chant for their pleasure. Wrap yourself in this one relationship and feel bhakti rise in your heart. Step 6, you can turn to the divine couple by offering this prayer to them. I surrender to you, Shri Shri Radha Krishna. So this is the beautiful prayer from the Sanat Kumar Samhita. Soham yah sharanam prapto mama tasya vadanti cha sarvam tabhyam tadartam hi tadbhogyam natu ye mama. Whatever is mine is in truth your property. Soham yah sharanam prapto mama tasya vadanti cha. Everything is for your sake. Sarvam tabhyam tadartam. Everything is for your enjoyment. Hi tad bhogyam. Nothing is meant for my enjoyment. Na tu ye mama. So this is a beautiful meditation, or you can also meditate on, Sakradeva prapannoyam tava asmiti yachet aham abhayam sarvada etad dridam vratam mama. But this is a very beautiful meditation because this aptly is meant for this, exercise. Because nothing belongs to me. It's only Radha and Krishna who belong to me. So that is the meditation here. In this state of consciousness, you can chant for their pleasure, for their pleasure. Now, again, this is not an easy, task to be achieved. Even in the stage of one who is at the stage of Ruchi, he chants because he gets taste in chanting. When he chants 16 rounds, he feels, let me chant another 16 rounds because he has taste in performing the Bhakti Angas. But only at the stage of Asakti, the consciousness completely takes a turn and he says, I am getting pleasure in taking the holy names, but let me chant for their pleasure. Aham, from aham it comes to mama. Mama means for Krishna's pleasure. So this is the state of consciousness we need to attain. And we should try to practice this exercise so that slowly, we have this shift in consciousness or paradigm shift in the consciousness that we chant for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. This meditation will clarify where you stand in your relationship with Radha and Krishna. So start doing this meditation and you will realize that, you know, uh, how far you are away from your relationship with Radha and Krishna or how near you are. In fact, the first meditation also, which we discussed, even there, you can see that you will come to know that chanting in Sambandha Gyan is not so easy. It's not so easy. Repeatedly, that's why we should, meditate on those steps, step 1, 2, and 3, and fix our consciousness, because the consciousness is always going to divert. It's going to divert. So we have to practice that exercise over a period of time. The first Sambandha Gyan exercise, which we mentioned, and then slowly go to that second exercise, which we discussed. The third exercise seems quite simple, but it is not so easy. So I inserted this third practical exercise on chanting based on the discussion on these offenses, because holy name, sometimes we think, we do kalpanam, but it is pure rasa and consciousness. It will act as a powerful inspiration to improve whatever needs improving. Most of all, it will help you to transform your daily life and make it deeply spiritual. You might even find that your so-called problems disappear. Please try it. It works. So I'll be sharing the slides and you can meditate on this third exercise and try to practically apply it in your chanting. So any questions about this exercise, meditating on Radha and Krishna, practical exercise? Any questions on this? Any clarifications? Okay, there is one question. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, it's very general question on how to chant. As in, when you said you breathe in and out, let the thoughts pass away. I want to know when that transition is going on, we have to remember Radha and Krishna, or they will come automatically. What is it? I mean, I'm still trying to.
So the breathing exercises are done uh, so that, because breath is controlled, has a connection with the mind. The mind, to calm the mind, the breathing exercises are done. So your focus, the focus of your consciousness, which is in the external environment, you bring it to the breathing. And now you're focusing on the breathing, the inhaling and the exhaling. And slowly, by controlling the breath, the mind calms down. And when the mind is calm and focused, at that time, you have to invoke in the mind's eye either the pictures, you see directly the pictures. It is always best in the beginning stages of our Krishna conscious practice, and even for many years, uh, to have the pictures in front, because it is very difficult to, the visual image to come in the mind until and unless the chit is very pure, until when we are in the mode of goodness. So we can see the pictures literally, and then after gazing at the pictures, then we bring the pictures through the mind's eye. It's a camera, the heart is a camera, and then maybe we can in the mind screen, visualize that picture, and then, with a prayer we can offer that this chanting I'm offering, or I'm chanting for your pleasure, Shri Radha Gopinath or Shri Radha Madhav, Shishi, Radha, Sham, Sundar, whichever deities are your Ishtadev. So if you start doing this, you will see a tremendous improvement in your chanting. Tremendous improvement in your chanting. That's the point. I hope it is clear.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Any other questions regarding this japa exercise which we mentioned? Okay. So let's now come to the next offense which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is discussing. Aneka mane karena a. Many think यज्ञादि कर्म दान आदि धर्म तीर्थ यात्रा आदि चेष्टा सकल ए रूपे शुभ कर नामो तद रूप. Just as yajna and such activities, charity and such religious duties, and pilgrimages and such pious endeavors bring about auspiciousness, chanting of the holy name similarly brings about auspiciousness. That is to equate the karma kanda activities with the chanting of the holy name. So this is, this is the misconception. Yahadera Erupa Buddhi, Tahara Nama Pradi. One, those who have such a conception are offenders to the holy name. Nama Sarvadai Chid Ras Sarup. The holy name is always of the nature of spiritual rasa, Anyanya samasta satkarme jadmai. All of the various auspicious activities of karma are material. Please remember, karma is material. It is completely material. It has nothing to do with the soul. Now, there are subtle differences between karma and activities of bhakti. Now, I'll give you one example for us to understand. And it is a little subtle difference because they look quite similar externally. Now, I think I gave this example, but I'll repeat it. Now, one by nature is a Vaishya and he's into agriculture activities. So he has that tendency to do agriculture activities. So he tills the land. Before tilling the land, he does the puja for Vishnu and, calls the Vaishnavas, does kirtan, and then he starts doing his work, karma. And after doing this work of tilling the land, he sows the seeds. All these are actions which he is doing. And then rainfall is there, then the crops are grown. And then after the crops are grown, he offers all these grains to the temple of Vishnu. So he is doing all his actions for the pleasure of Vishnu. Now, is it bhakti or is it karma? My question to you all. Because all his, fruits in the form of whatever he has grown, the grains, he is offering it to the temple of Vishnu. Everything, 100%. So is it karma or is it bhakti? Yes, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it is bhakti because he is offering everything to Lord.
Okay. Let us see what others have to say. Okay, Nityananda Priya Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I feel this is karma. This will come in the category of sakam karma because he's offering his fruit. He is not done for Krishna. He's doing for himself, and whatever he has earned or whatever he has gained, he's offering to Krishna. So this might come into sakam.
No,
karma.
sakam. If you say sakam means, he, whatever grains he has grown, he sells it in the market and he makes profit for himself. And maybe some profit he gives to the temple. But here in my example, I'm mentioning everything what he has grown, he offers it to the temple.
Okay. So
So
if
what is-
everything is given, then this will come in bhakti. Then Prabhuji, he's doing for Vishnu, he's doing for Krishna, so it will come in bhakti.
Okay. Any other thoughts? I would like to hear. Very important. Anyone else wants to share? Whether it's karma or bhakti? Okay. Anyone else? One more hand has been raised. Okay, last we'll take. Yes, Mataji, what is it? Is it karma or bhakti?
It is Shuddha Bhakti. Matlab, it is Bhakti complete. He is offering to Lord Krishna everything, na? Not taking himself.
Okay. Murlidhar Mukund Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot.
Mhm.
Because whether he is done by getting the permission or not, that's why it come under, I think it comes under Nishkama Karma Yoga. Under the instruction, if he done, it is Bhakti.
No, whether first of all, whether it is karma or bhakti, first you have to tell me.
He is doing for Lord Vishnu, that is Karma Yoga.
It's karma yoga. Okay. Fine. So, actually, Shuddha Bhakti or pure devotion means Navida Bhakti. Engaging in the constitutional activities of the soul. That is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Now, we have our Swabhava of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. And the Swabhava is impelling us to do activities. Now, based on the Swabhava, we do activities, it is karma. And after doing that karma, we offer those activities to Vishnu or Krishna, then there is an imposition of bhakti. There is an imposition of bhakti. So that is not Shuddha Bhakti. It is something called as Aropa Siddha Bhakti. Aropa Siddha Bhakti means there is an imposition of bhakti. You have done karma, and after doing karma, you are offering it. So in simple sense, it is more of a Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti. There is karma which is done, and then it is offered, or what we say as Karma Arpanam. The karma is offered, but please remember, okay, let me give you another example. I chant the holy names, the 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, when I chant, and then after chanting, I say, Krishna Arpanamastu, this is, for your offering, if I do this, whether this act of offering it after doing the 16 rounds, is it right or no? My question is, I hope it is clear. Is it right or no to do this? Think about it a little bit. Yes, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll just try about it.
Hmm.
First of all, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself says that please, Hey Radha, Hare Krishna, please engage me in your service.
Okay.
And then how can we say that I am offering this again?
Yes, the very act of the chanting itself is a bhakti activity. So there's no question of offering it. So this is a very, very subtle difference. And, even very, very, learned in the Shastra, learned in the Vedas, learned in practicing devotion for many, many years don't understand. And I met one very, very, very senior devotee here. He's not from ISKCON. And he was mentioning that my adhikar is as a Brahmana is to do this. And even when I chant the holy names, ultimately I have to do it as an offering. Arpanam, he was telling. So that means he's still acting based on his swabhava, on his conditioning. So if you have that conception also, then although you're doing the act of bhakti directly, but because of that misconception, still there is avaran happening. It is not directly mukhya bhakti you're doing gauna bhakti, you're doing gauna bhakti. You're doing gauna bhakti, or what is called as mishra bhakti, or the term I used as aropa siddha bhakti. So these divisions in bhakti, have to be very carefully understood and studied. So there is a subtle difference between karma and bhakti, and that's why karma is material and it gets spiritualized when it is offered to Krishna. Therefore, they are categorically distinct from the chanting of the holy name. So there is, heaven and hell difference between the two. That's why if you equate them, then it is aparad. Yahara nama sahita ai sakala shubh karmera samya vivechana karena tahara prakrit nam ras asvadana karena nai. Those who consider all of those auspicious activities of karma to be equal to the chanting of the holy name have not relished the factual taste of the holy name. Nam ras asvadan kare na. So there is difference between the two, and because you have not relished the rasa of the holy name, that's why you're not able to distinguish. And even new devotees can, understand this. And one of the sannyasis was mentioning in his lectures that especially he was addressing the congregation there, that you have relished the pleasures of this world and you have come to spiritual life, and although the pleasures of this world in the family life, whatever it is, in terms of affection for children, there is some rasa, and there is some happiness, but as you have taken up to Krishna consciousness, you have relished something higher, superior taste. And that's why you are still coming here, for hearing lectures, for the yatra. So there is some higher rasa which you have relished, higher rasa in the relationship with the Lord. So that is why, although you're relishing these rasas of this world also, but you have experienced a higher rasa and you are desiring to, be in that higher rasa. And that is what is driving you all to come to hear Krishna Katha, to come to for the yatras, to practice spiritual life. That because you yearn for that, So those who have factually relished the holy name, they will not equate these two. Hiroka or Kanche e rupe bheda. Harinam or anya shubh karme tad rupa vastugata ved ache. Just as there is a substantial difference between diamond and glass. Diamond and glass, there is a similar substantial difference between chanting the holy Lord Hari's holy name and the various auspicious activities of karma. Now, you can relate this example of the diamond and glass to whose story, which is given in the Bhagavatam. Who had this realization? Yes, Nityanand Priya Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, the story of Dhruv Maharaj.
It's the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, it's the story of Dhruva Maharaj. So that verse is not there in the Bhagavatam. It is in the Hari Bhakti Suhoday. That I had come to you for some broken pieces of glass, in the form of a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. But after, having your darshan, experiencing, the highest rasa, I've got a diamond, and he realized that. So Dhruva Maharaj practiced bhakti with the intention to attain a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. So his bhakti was Mishra. It was actually Karma Mishra Bhakti. But coming in contact with the Lord, that Mishran went away and his heart got purified and he became a Shuddha Bhakta, Ananya Bhakta, and now he's experiencing the highest rasa in Shuddha Bhakti. And that was his realization. And this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also speaking. Now, I would like to just, take a little detour and go to the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And I'll have a question for you all. And let us see who will answer this. This is very important. There is a very famous verse which Rupa Goswami defines after first defining sadhana bhakti. Then he defines Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And after defining Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, he defines Raganuga sadhana bhakti. And then what are the adhikar for practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti? The Kanishta, Madhyama and the Uttam adhikaris. He speaks about that. And after speaking about the adhikaris, then he quotes this very important verse, which I'm just going to share with you. And based on this, I have a question for you all. Kindly hear this question also very attentively. Okay, let me. Okay. Yes. This is the verse, we all know it. Bhukti mukti spruha yavat pishachi ridhi vartate tavad bhakti sukasyatra katam abhyudo bhavet. How can the happiness of bhakti, katam tavad bhakti sukasyatra, arise in the heart, ridhi abhyudo bhavet, when the witch of desire for enjoyment and liberation, bhukti mukti spruha pishachi yavat, remains there, atra vartate. So now my question is, we are all practicing bhakti. Now, Rupa Goswami is speaking about the happiness of bhakti. So what is he referring here? Which bhakti is he referring here? Happiness of which bhakti? Because we are also experiencing some happiness of bhakti. But what bhakti is he referring to here? Anyone would like to answer this? What bhakti is Rupa Goswami referring here? Anyone? There are two hands. Yes, Sunita Mataji?
Hare Krishna, I'll try, Prabhuji.
Yes.
He's referring to Shuddha Bhakti.
Yes, it is referring to Shuddha Bhakti. So, as long as the subtle desires and the gross desires for Bhogavansha is there in our heart, as long as we are not free from the subtlest of the subtlest desires for liberation, till then our bhakti is Mishra. And till then we have not actually relished Shuddha Bhakti. We have not relished Shuddha Bhakti. And only when one who has relished Shuddha Bhakti, then these desires of Bhukti and Mukti are not there in the heart. He is now relishing Shuddha Bhakti, the happiness of Shuddha Bhakti. Similarly, is a point Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that one who has relished Rasa, he will, he knows the distinction between what is, material activities and activities of bhakti. He is able to easily distinguish between the two. So that is the point. It's a very important point, and it is actually referring, that verse is referring to Shuddha Bhakti. So I'm again showing another quotation. This is again Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Bhakti Tattva Vivek mentions. He quotes the same verse. As long as the two witches of desire of Bhukti and Mukti remain in the devotee's heart, not even a fraction of pure happiness derived from Sarup Siddha Bhakti. This Sarup Siddha Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti will arise. Both bodily and mental enjoyment are considered Bhakti. So he's making it clear. So as long as we are not free from the desires for Bhakti, desires from Mukti, and there are gradations of Mukti, we have seen that, we cannot experience in our heart the pure happiness of Shuddha Bhakti. So similarly, whether it is Bhakti or Nam, it is the same thing. So that is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is bringing out. That one who has tasted, the diamond, relished the diamond, he doesn't, where is it? Yeah, he doesn't, he knows the difference. Yeah, substantial difference between diamond and glass. Okay, there's a footnote. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. It is a fact that most of the Vedic scriptures promote karma. But in the Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu quotes the Sri Namostatara Shatanama Stotra of Padma Puran. Vishnur Ekeka Nameva Sarva Vedadikam Matam. Each holy name of Lord Vishnu is superior to the entire Vedas. Therefore, chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is incomparably superior to the activities within the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. There is no comparison. You cannot compare. So this is the praman given for that. Any ashraddhadhana vyaktira prati harinama upadesh karena teni nanama prati. So this is the next offense, which is in paragraph stanza 20. But up till now, what we have discussed, anyone has any questions? Anyone has any questions or clarifications? Okay. There is one question. Yes, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, we saw the example that the farmer, he was performing devotional services, means he was doing kirtan and he was invoking.
No. The farmer was not performing devotional service, direct acts of devotion. He was, according to his nature, engaged in farming. He was engaged based on his nature into farming, and whatever he was growing, that he was offering to the temple. So that act of doing farming is all karma. It's all karma. But he is doing it offering to the Vishnu. Karma arpanam it is. It is arpanam. And he's offering it also with a desire. There are divisions in this, which is a vast topic. There is offering, expecting some result. I'm offering this to, Lord Vishnu. Maybe he will give me more wealth, more land, so that I can cultivate more grains. But I am offering this with the desire that I attain devotion to Vishnu. This is called as Bhakti Matra Kam. The kamana is that I should only get devotion to Krishna. So like that, based on his intentions of what he's offering, with what intention he's offering those results also, there are again varied, results which come from that activity, that devotion. There are again divisions in it. So basically, his nature dictates him to do agriculture activity, his swabhava. If he is situated on the transcendental platform, then he will do, satatam kirtayanto mam. Yatantascha dridavata, with great determination. Namasyante tu mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. His upasana is unbroken. So he's doing constitutional activities of the soul. That is the Navvidha Bhakti or the 64 limbs of Bhakti. That's the difference.
Okay.
You got
So,
it?
Prabhuji, I have this question that before coming into bhakti or before coming into Krishna consciousness, we were doing like the farmer. So, what about those activities which we have done? What will
I'm
be
not
the
clear.
result of Prabhuji, before coming into Krishna consciousness, we were doing our activities like the farmer. So what
No,
about
now also we are doing those activities like a farmer.
what is the what is our ultimate destination, Prabhuji?
So first of all, we need to understand that devotional activities means exclusively doing the Navvidha Bhakti. But there are activities which we do based on our conditional nature also. There are activities. The conditional activities are done in such a way that we dovetail them towards Krishna firstly, and those activities of conditional nature we do with a nishkama bhav, with not desiring any fruits, with the intention that we get more devotion. So we have our conditional nature, and the conditional nature takes major of our activities throughout the day. So we do those activities in such a way that they are favorable so that we can do more and more constitutional activities. And slowly, when we overcome this conditioning, when we come to the transcendental, when we are situated on the transcendental platform, then the conditioning, the effects of the modes are not there because now we are situated transcendental. At that time, pure devotional service begins. Now you're continuously doing only the acts of devotion. And even if you do acts according to your previous nature, that time your remembrance of Krishna is continuous. There is no break in it. Your remembrance of Krishna is continuous. So those activities also you do, like to give again the example of Dhruva Maharaj, he was a Kshatriya. He was a king. And he went with a desire to attain a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. And he became pure by having darshan of the Lord. And he no more had the desire now to attain, because now he had attained the Lord. But still the Lord, in the future, they will tell, Array, what is the use of worshipping me, So the Lord bestowed that desire and he gave him a kingdom. Now he was a pure devotee. He was not only self-realized, he was a pure devotee. He went back to his kingdom and he became a king. You know that. Now he was not ruling the king based on his Kshatriya nature because he had overcome the conditioning. So although he was acting as a king, but he was situated on the transcendental platform. Although he was doing some karma kanda yagyas to lead the praja towards dharma, but while doing the yagyas, when he was offering, idam indraya namaha. So when he was offering it, this Indra is the limb of Vishnu. So his act itself was pure devotion. There was no karma avaran happening. So until we are on the transcendental platform, there is karma avaran happening because of our conditioned nature. That's the point. I hope it is clear.
Yes, Prabhuji, it is clear. But then how can Grihasthas progress in bhakti if this is the case?
Yes, everyone can progress in bhakti. We have to understand how we do our conditional activities by seeing that they more help us to do more and more constitutional activities. And we get more time for doing Shravanam, Kirtanam. And slowly, over a period of time, by doing all these conditional activities in the spirit of detachment, we overcome the conditioning and come to the transcendental platform. That's it. Okay, so any other questions or clarifications on this offense? Difference between the karma kanda activities and the bhakti activities. Okay, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Harinam Chantamani mentions about the remedy if one commits this offense of equating the Shubha Karma with the activities of Bhakti. If one thinks the chanting of the holy name is one of the many material pious deeds, one commits an impious deed, he says. And he gives a footnote. This impious deed is an offense to the Vaishnavas. The result of this offense is that one becomes attracted to Mayavadi's mistaken ideas about the holy name. By associating with devotees, one destroys his offense, then one attains the faith in the holy name. One should take care to extinguish this impious thought, then one will understand the holy name's purity. Eventually, one will attain the great treasure of pure love for Krishna. One should anoint one's body with dust from the feet of an outcast grahastha who is devoted to pure chanting of the holy name. So how to rectify this mentality? You have to go to an outcast grahastha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. But this outcast grahastha is what? Is chanting the pure holy name. Again, there is a footnote. Rejecting that the idea that a Vaishnava is a member of a certain caste, one should devotedly smear on one's body the dust from the feet of a saintly person devoted to the pure chanting of the holy name. So this mentality, that, recognizing someone as inferior or superior based on, again, birth. So that is a mundane material consideration. Drushte swabhava janita. It is based on material vision. And we don't see him that, he's chanting the pure name. So that's why the remedy for equating this thing is to go to an outcast grahastha who is chanting the pure name. One should eat the remnants of food that has touched his lips, and one should drink the water that has washed his feet. Then one's heart will become pure, and one will attain pure chanting of the holy name. Kalidas is an example of such a devotee, breaking their misconceptions into pieces. By your mercy, the people of the world may chant the holy name. So the entire pastime of Kalidas was a very pure devotee, and he used to go to sometimes a grahastha who is pure and take their Mahaprasad. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "Oh Lord, my intelligence is dull. Ami jada buddhi, stunted and materialistic. I pray that I may once properly chant the holy name. I have never really attained the Chintamani jewel, that is Lord Krishna's holy name. Nama Chintamani Tattva Kabu Nahi Paye, Ekmatra Gaye." I sing this. So this happens also because we have Jada Buddhi. We have this Jada Buddhi, and that's why this offense might happen. So this is the remedy for this offense Bhaktivinoda Thakur discusses. So there is only now few more last two offenses to be discussed, and tomorrow will be the last class where we will discuss this. And tomorrow we will end this discussion, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to summarize this whole essay with a very important note. So tomorrow we will see that. So I'll stop here. Any questions or clarifications? Okay. Shri Harinam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai. Hare Krishna.